Okay.
That deal is sure to loom large over the first game of the season between the Cowboys and the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, tomorrow night on NBC, the NFL finally is back. Joining us now from Philadelphia, the man on the call, host and play-by-play commentator for NBC Sports, our good friend Mike Tirico. Also with us, MSNBC contributor, host of the Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast. Pablo Torre.
The guy on the right will not be on NBC tomorrow night.
That's right.
Not with that attitude.
No. So, Mike, great to see you as always. We're all excited. We got college football over the weekend. NFL is back. What are you expecting tomorrow night?
Do you want a Vanderbilt football breakdown for you, Willie, or you want to talk NFL? We can talk NFL, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
Big win over Charleston Southern. Good things happening at Vandy. Great coach.
Big
Oh, yeah.
The Cowboys grab the headlines. They take most of the oxygen in the room no matter what. And here's Philadelphia's night. They're the Super Bowl champions. Big celebration of that, unveil the banner, but everybody's looking at the Cowboys as per usual. And for the third time in about the last 4 years, it's been a big player and a big contract. And this time, instead of getting signed like it did with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, it's a trade of maybe one of the impact defensive edge players in Micah Parsons. And there's no right answer to will the trade work or not. We're not going to know for a few years. Needless to say, Dallas will not be better on the field without him tomorrow or for the next 4 or 5 weeks. They hope they're better stopping the run, and that's something they were terrible at last year.
So, Pablo, the Cowboys, every year there's talk. Is this they're going back to the Super Bowl? We're going to reclaim the glory years of Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith, and it never seems to happen. There's a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
What are you looking at tomorrow?
I want to acknowledge something. Like, Mike Tirico's voice is the voice that more Americans hear week to week because of Sunday Night Football, pretty much than anyone else in the country. The Cowboys are doing favors to the media that they don't need to do. To your point of like what's going to happen this year, I don't know. It's going to feel like Jerry Jones is going to be working for the media more than he is for the team that he owns. Like this whole thing of Micah Parsons, this was a Jerry thing. This is one of those stories where it's like, why do they want to give him up? Well, maybe there's a power struggle and all that, but it's also the case that Jerry Jones seems to produce the Cowboys like it's a television show. And so you didn't need a story like this. I don't know if there's been a better player traded in his prime than the guy who's on screen right now, Micah Parsons, the defensive end, the pass rusher. But now we have this storyline, a fight poster with a guy who's not even on the team heading into, the return of the monocultural institution that all of us care about because football is, of course, king. And thanks for the gift, I guess.
I mean, but Mike, it's been so long. Everybody, you're right. The Cowboys take up so much space.
Yes.
But it's been so long since they've been to the Super Bowl. I think it's, 1996? I mean, damn, the Yankees have even won a World Series since then. I mean, it's been a long time. How impatient are Cowboy fans getting?
Very, very. I mean, I don't know how many folks watched the Netflix documentary. If you haven't and you don't know the history of the Cowboys, let's say you're in your 40s and you were not an adult during the era of those Cowboys winning the 3 Super Bowls, go back and watch the documentary. You understand what Jerry Jones has always done. He's always bet on himself, whether it was scraping together all his funds he could, oil wells, Cowboys, the stadium they built, even their team headquarters, which is a big real estate development now with houses and businesses and workout facilities and all that stuff. Jerry's always bet on himself. They've become their own internal soap opera. The problem is the on-field product. Only 2 other teams have gone a longer drought in being in their conference championship game than the Cowboys. But at some point, you would think fans would turn away because the team isn't good. That's the difference. They've been good, tantalizingly good. 12 wins in 3 straight years, but only 1 playoff win in that stretch from 22 through 24. So then that makes you understand why there's such a thirst to see the Cowboys get back to the top of the mountain.
So Gene, I know it hurts you as a Washington fan to know that the Cowboys haven't even made it to the Super Bowl this century. I mean, it really does. It begs the question, how do you have a franchise that is one of the wealthiest franchises on the planet, that has been America's team, that was the team of Roger Staubach and Leroy Jordan and Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman and all of these other great players.
Legends.
Tom Landry, who, by the way, was fired by Jerry Jones. How do you have all that going for you and you don't even make it to the playoffs for what? 29 years? I mean, make it to the Super Bowl for 29 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I've been, while you were doing that segment, I was weeping because, the Cowboys. I mean, I used to go to RFK, and Cowboy Week was a huge thing in Washington. And when the Cowboys got beaten at RFK, it was like a national holiday. It was just the greatest thing in the world. So Mike Tirico. So all the so-called experts are predicting a kind of drop-off for my Commanders this year. They have a much tougher schedule. It's the sophomore year for phenomenal Jaden Daniels, and quarterbacks often have a drop-off in the sophomore year. Will you join me in the counter view that the Commanders will get better this year? They now have Deebo Samuel, another wide receiver to complement Terry McLaurin, and it's just nothing. The only way is up. But Mike, will you agree with me?
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
Well, first off, we just spent 7 minutes talking about the Cowboys, which is 1 minute for every win they had last year. We still haven't talked about the team that won the Super Bowl, Philadelphia, or the favorites in Kansas City and Buffalo and Baltimore and Detroit. However, you bring up Washington, which is a good team to bring up because you're right. Sophomore slumps usually happen because teams have figured out quarterbacks and they can defend them a little bit differently. I don't think we're going to see that with Jaden Daniels. I think Washington has a better team around them. Big fan of Dan Quinn, their coach. The ownership change has come in and totally re-energized the franchise. The talk about moving back into the district, building a new stadium at the old RFK site, all of that is the most positive energy that Washington has had going for their NFL team in a long time. I don't see a drop-off. They were legit winning at Detroit in the divisional playoff game, came here to Philadelphia. They couldn't stop the Eagles. They're better on the defensive side. I don't think you're going to see the drop-off. Now, they play all their games out of the division against the NFC North, which is going to be difficult. So I don't think they're going to win as many games, but I think they'll be one of those teams that's around at the end. I'd be surprised, if healthy, if Washington is not a playoff team in the NFC this year.
By the way, Mike
Tirico, feel good?
Throw any team. Throw any team at Mike Tirico to walk you through their schedule, their pluses, their minuses.
I think you softly told Gene it's not happening this year.
I think that was the message. So, Pablo, let's talk about a team that Mike invoked, the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously coming off the big engagement news. They got the doc of their own. They're playing in Brazil on Friday night, so we get kind of a Thursday night with Mike in Philly. Then we go to Brazil to watch the Chiefs and the Chargers on Friday night. What are you expecting from the defending AFC champs?
The map of the earth is a risk board for the Kansas City Chiefs now, right? We're going to Brazil. We're claiming the rest of the continental United States. This is a time of anti-incumbency. I believe that the Chiefs are an incumbent to believe in. I believe that, look, the Eagles, yes, are excellent. But I believe that the Chiefs era is the one we're living in.
Wait, now, you don't think the Chiefs era is over?
I don't.
The Chiefs underperformed, John, 2 years ago through the first half of the season. Sort of struggled last season. Again, struggled on the Chiefs level of struggling. But they don't look like the same team that they looked like 3-4 years ago. They are not as dominant. Mahomes is not as dominant. Travis is, he's slowing down a bit.
And distracted.
Well, for good reason. But that said,
Brigade John Lemire.
That said,
alleging a distraction. That's what he said about Taylor Swift.
The Chiefs, though, have underperformed over the last two regular seasons.
And let's remember, they got crushed in the Super Bowl. A game that was over by 3 minutes into the second half. I know the Chiefs are still going to be in the mix, but I do think it's a top-heavy AFC where you have Baltimore still very good. A lot of people think this could finally be Buffalo's year.
Oh, come on.
And then Kansas City. I'm hoping for it.
You say the Great Pumpkin's going to rise from the pumpkin patch. I would love Josh Allen to finally come through, but Josh Allen's just not going to come through.
Well, he certainly has not done so against Mahomes in the playoffs. That must be said.
I love love. Listen, we all love Josh Allen.
Yes, our large adult
We
son, Josh
all
Allen.
love. I love everything about Josh Allen. Josh Allen is not going to win the big one.
Wow.
This year he will.
Oh my God! I would love for him to win the big one this year.
Me too.
I'd also love the Falcons to win the big one this year. But as an Atlanta fan, they're not going to do it.
But this is kind of my point, though. It's like, man, the Chiefs were so disappointing. They only made the Super Bowl again.
To be sure.
I'm just like, yeah, pencil them in for me. Pencil them in for me is what I'm saying.
Hey, Mike,
Buffalo,
two
Green Bay.
questions here. One, last year around this table, we predicted we predicted the Chiefs and the Lions were going to get to the Super Bowl. The Lions had a heartbreaker. I'm wondering, do you think the Lions can make it? Do they are they stronger at the beginning of the start of this year than they were at the end of last year? And secondly, I've suffered with the Falcons since 1966. Falcons have a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. The Falcons have a shot of going 500.
Yeah, oh, yes. I'll take them in reverse. Absolutely, they do. Year 2 with Raheem Morris. Michael Penix Jr. takes over as quarterback late last year. Learned a lot. I like what his skill set is. I think with a little seasoning now, he's going to have a great opportunity. Kirk Cousins remains a backup there. We're going to see Atlanta week 2 of Sunday Night Football against Minnesota. A couple of good teams that I think people have off their radar because they're not the Cowboys or teams that have had those other good seasons. So, yes, winning season, very likely, Joe. And I think Atlanta and Tampa, those two battles will determine who wins the NFC South. As for the Lions, I live in Michigan, so thanks for asking, because that'll make people not complain that I didn't talk about them. This is a Detroit team that's still really, really good. They lost both coordinators, go on to be the head coaches of two good franchises. Aaron Jones takes over the Jets as the head coach, which will be, I don't know, something that'll be a challenge to say that. Aaron Glenn, I should say. There'll be a challenge, to say the least, to change the culture with the Jets. And their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, is now the Bears coach. So you lose two coordinators to Chicago and New York, means you had a good team. If those new coordinators are good, and I think they're going to be, the guys in Detroit, most of the good players are still there. So the Lions have a great chance. We won 15 games last year. Great chance to be back 1 or 2 seed in the NFC. So yes to both is the short answer.